Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Have an interesting conversation. I have a presentation actually. Salute to my brother Big Dog Philly OG, my brother Relentless, and my sister Sharon Walker. Thanks for tapping in. I'm going to do a presentation by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. But before I get started, I'm going to play a little old school hip hop to get us started to allow people to come in. Then I will get to the presentation. First of all, can you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, please? I need to know if I'm being heard. Thank you.
Somebody, if you want to party, say party. Party! Say party! Party! Come on! Yeah. If you want to party, is that the fact? Somebody say, and you know that. And you know that.
Salute to my brother Mouse. Now, just a little hip hop history. These are very accomplished musicians. No samples, none of that. Musicians on the bass, on the drums, on the horns, on the keyboards, doing their thing. 5 mic stands in the studio. This is how it was done in 1979.
Grandmaster, cut faster than any known, so to the bone, full grown. He's a one of a kind that flashes gonna rock your mind. Flash two times.
So move on from there. I'll play this song and then I'll get into the subject matter. Now we're going to get into the subject matter. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson.
Amen.
That's not what I want to play. Bear with me. I don't know why I keep going back to this. I'm not trying to play.
Hey baby, you want to fool around? You want you to be my woman?
Party people, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Party people, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
We're the disco king.
Call me machine.
A CBS News investigation found dozens of law enforcement leaders buying and illegally selling guns. A review of government audits and court records over the last 20 years uncovered instances in 23 states across the U.S. plus Puerto
Damn thing playing everything besides what the hell I click on. Let me go back in this bastard. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I'm experiencing technical difficulties. Stand by. Bear with me. Here we are right here. Present. Let's go.
This is the part one of a two-part series entitled Black Man, White Woman. Significantly, it was not entitled Black Woman, White Man because in the last 10 years, the statistics indicate that there is a significant increase in relationships between black men and white women and a significant decrease in relationships between black women and white men. With me to discuss this very volatile issue are two leading psychiatrists, Dr. Francis Welsing, a member of the psychiatric department of the Medical College at Howard University, and Dr. Alvin Poussant, a psychiatrist, a member of the Medical College at Harvard University, and author of the well-known book, Why Blacks Kill Blacks. To begin with you, Sister Welsing, why do you believe, basically, black men are becoming so significantly attracted to white women, or is it vice versa?
I'd like to turn it around. I think, first of all, that white women are seeking black men first. Black men some are attracted to white women. And I don't think that we can understand this phenomena unless we understand really what is the larger dynamic that is occurring, not only in this society, but in the world at large. And the way that I look at that phenomena is that, number one, we are living within the context of a system of white supremacy, which is my definition of racism. Racism is a worldwide system of white supremacy, domination, and control. And all of the behavior that we see all over the world, whether it's the behavior of the black woman, the white woman, the black man, or the white man, is occurring within the dynamics of this system. And we can understand what is happening as far as the white woman, black man relationship and why that is on the increase. I think if we understand the need for the system to remain intact.
But Francis,
Okay.
you don't think that the black man has a special attraction toward the white woman?
Oh,
in
yes,
America?
he does. Yes, he does.
Why is
Because
that?
Well, he has been programmed historically to feel that, first of all, this is the woman who is the woman in the world. And this is a thing that has been denied him, in terms of, let's say, male-female relations or sexual partners. The black man, at least in this area of the world, has been told historically, you cannot touch this woman. And so at that level of social dynamic programming, yes, the black man has always felt, well, this is the one thing that I have been denied in this society. And so many black men, I think, at one level, they are moving towards white women as white women move. White women are the major aggressors in this situation. But the black man is playing his role because he says, well, this is a thing that I've been denied. This is the thing that is going to be the great equalizer.
I think, though, that the need has sort of been exaggerated, because if we look at those statistics you just mentioned, actually in the past decade, even with the increase, there's only about 43,000 black man, white woman marriages. That's a very, very tiny percentage. That means about 2% of black men are married to white women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we had accepted the propaganda, that is the white propaganda, that all black men desire a white woman and they want to marry your daughter, you would expect the incidence of the marriages to really be increasing at a much greater rate.
I was going to ask, does it mean that that the fact that if we accept the fact that black men do feel that white women are preferable to black women, are we saying that their behavior in the context of standard behavior is normal or abnormal?
Well, I don't like to use those terms. I would prefer to understand the phenomena. For example, if we start labeling behavior, like, for example, homosexuals don't like to be called pathological, for one thing. And I think that it is more useful if we say, well, let us try to understand the phenomena of homosexuality, as opposed to saying, well, now that's sick. And then people get turned off and they don't spend time trying to understand the dynamic. In the same way, I don't want to look at the phenomena of, cross-color sexual mating or marriage or whatever. And in terms of pathology, I would rather say, well, let's try to understand what actually is going on.
But you
and
call the
why
white woman the aggressor.
I say that she is aggressive because we live in the context of a white supremacy society in which white people are the dominant group. They are the people who control the power. We are the oppressed people. We are the people who are victims of that system. Just like, in terms of history, it was just a short 2 months ago in terms of the whole historical span that black men were being lynched for looking at a picture of a white woman. You see, and now we are told, well, now everything is opened up. Well, I want to understand, well, why is it that everything is opened up? I think everything is opened up since black men started talking about black power. You see, when black men start talking about black power, then that says, well, all right, maybe there will be a challenge to the system of white supremacy domination, not only in this area of the world, but all over the world. So the white supremacy system says, all right, well, now what do we do to get these people back in control. And what do we do to get them back in check? That is the black man. Well, we'll lay our ace trump card on them, which is a white woman.
In other
You
words,
see, which brings the
I
black
think-
man then back within the context that the white supremacy system is going to work for you. See, we denied you this, now you have it. But on close examination, in spite of all of the black-white marriages, the black-white sex that has occurred throughout history, in the last 500 years, there has been no serious tampering with the maintenance of white supremacy, certainly not through the bedroom activity. Do you see what I'm saying? But in other words, it throws people off balance.
So
In
the
other
white,
words,
the white woman is still, I think, in a position of psychological dominance. And
Right.
that, insofar as
Right.
she is, that's a form of white supremacy. And that the black men are frequently responding to her dominant position, the fact that she is considered a superior status object in society. But getting back to this point,
Well, let me ask a question before
Yeah,
you
go
move to
ahead.
that. Then, if we accept that, are we saying that the black men who marry white women are asking for dominance from a female?
no, the black men who are married by white women.
But
No,
the trend you continually
No, I think that they're looking for status.
the black men are looking
The
for
black
status.
men are looking for status whether they are aware of it or not. In other words, as long as you have white supremacy domination any place in the world, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's Japan, any place, you name it, that as long as the people of color are the people who are oppressed, then when a marriage occurs, in other words, the dominator says, I will pick you amongst the victims who I dominate to marry you, then the victim says, oh goody, this means I'm in.
Well, that's true, but if I can ask this question,
Okay.
it seems the way you are framing your analysis that the almost total blame, if we can use that word, for interracial marriages is because of one, white society vis-a-vis white supremacy,
Seeking to maintain itself.
and two, white women being the aggressors. You seem to be saying, and I'm asking a question, that black men are just blameless and they're sort of like the victims of something that they have no control over, or that they have no need to be married to a white woman for some perhaps pathological basis.
No, let's say, for example, if you set up the conditions for the development of a sadomasochistic relationship, then the masochist as well as the sadist is a part of that relationship, and they are playing roles that they have been conditioned to play. In other words, a person who is a masochist seeks out the sadist because then they could play their sort of dual game,
Mutual reciprocity.
their mutual reciprocity together. Now, within the dynamic of the system of white supremacy, you have, for example, many of the white women who are with black and other non-white men are actually, I believe, having a dialogue with white men.
How does that work?
See, the dialogue goes like this, according to my analysis. First of all, the white women, we have the women's liberation movement, which is a dynamic of white females. Okay, they are asking for liberation out from under the white male. All right, now within the dynamic of the white supremacy culture, you also have penis envy. In other words, the white men have been perceived as being dominant over the woman. And so the woman says, well, I wish I had a penis. Okay, so what does she do? She says, well, I'll go out and get one that's supposed to be more powerful than yours, but I'm going to control it because we are white and we control all of the non-white. So she goes out and she selects, and all this is unconscious, activity, if you will. She goes out and selects a non-white male, be he black or any other non-white. Then she is walking down the street, or they can go to the, justice of the peace or the priest to be married. And anytime a white man sees that, she is communicating to him, see, I've got one because I am in control of this.
But I don't think we can, generalize to that extent. I think that's a theory. But it's getting back to the question when we present arguments that way is whether the relationships between black men and white women are pathological. Now, Frances said she doesn't like to think of it in that framework, but the fact is that a lot of psychiatrists have presented or said that interracial relationships and marriage stem from a type of negative psychological position or some type of pathology because of the racism in society. They'll say that the racism distorts people's minds so that frequently you'll get, say, a white woman attracted to a black man for the wrong reasons or for racist reasons. She may see him as inferior, that might turn her on, or she might see him as a black stud, that may turn her on. All these are racist perspectives. Or the black man can get attracted to the white woman because she's supposed to be superior and he wants to be part of that whiteness. In other words, she's sort of anointing him or helping him to feel a sense of self-worth by his involvement
Well, I wouldn't
with
argue
her.
with any of that.
But at the same time, I think that
let's look
we
at it
can't
this way.
say that this happens with everyone, and even if it does happen, that this is pathological.
Well, let's look at it this way.
Motivated
Let's say, for example, white men and white women have many difficulties in terms of marriage. All right. I mean, there's a lot of alienation that is going on just within the white group itself, within the whole total context of the white supremacy system. Black men and black women have serious problems in terms of the marital relationship. Now, either we say that all of these people are sick because of, various problems. Or we can say, well, now let us look at the total behavioral phenomena that is occurring within a social system. Let's not bother to label it, but let's begin to understand what is happening. Do you see what I'm saying? Because there are many, many problems. I wouldn't want to say that I don't think it's useful. At one level, we can say, all right, these are pathological relationships, the problems that black men and black women have. Or we can say that the problems that white men and white women have are pathological. But I don't think that
society is
because once you say pathological, then
Which means sick.
Then people who can be helped by understanding the dynamic, they're turned off because they don't want to be labeled as sick, but they may want to understand the phenomenon.
Well, for purposes of analysis, let us assume.
Like, let's say everybody who comes to a psychiatrist doesn't want to be labeled as sick. They say, I have a problem. I don't understand how I am relating to this other individual and the product that we have that I don't want. Help me understand it so I can straighten it out. And this is where I'm coming from. I don't want to create a big
At the same time, though, I think we can recognize certain things that, I don't know if we want to call them sick, but that are distorted. For instance, I've seen black men married to white women, and essentially they hate other black people, that they have sort of joined the oppressor and are actively anti-black. And
An expression of self-hatred.
That's right. It's an expression of self-hate for them to marry a white woman.
But now,
on the
look,
other hand, I see some black men who are married to white women who remain militantly black.
Well, couldn't that be a defense mechanism?
But there's a contradiction.
But being militant, let's deal with this. Some of our most revolutionary blacks have white women. Now, many blacks suspect, and it's an open secret, that their militance is simply a defense mechanism so that they can deal with their need for a white woman.
Well,
but look at it this way. Many of those so-called militants who are married to white women, I think it's because of the way that they have defined the problem for themselves. Many black people who a white person will say, well, that person is militant because a person happens to be saying black power. They are not really talking about the overthrow of white supremacy. They're talking about workers of the world unite, maybe. Do you see what I'm saying? But because they are black, they're saying, well, okay, I'm saying in terms of a whole humanistic
integration, in other words.
They are talking, right. You see what I'm saying? So they don't perceive
integration, I think.
But they don't perceive a contradiction because the whole struggle of black people until recently has been defined as trying to get we want to become a part of the society as though it is possible for people of color to become a part of the society. Now, some black behavioral scientists are saying, on the basis of having made an analysis that the system is one of white supremacy, in which none of the non-white people in the entire world, who happen to make up 9/10 of the total world population, none of the non-white people can actually integrate into the system of white supremacy because it is just that, maintaining white supremacy. Okay, so now within that context, then some black people are rethinking the position in terms of, now, if I am talking about the overthrow of white supremacy as a system worldwide, then what does it mean for me to not only marry, but for me to have sexual relationships with a person who, whether they are willing or not, are participating in the maintenance of white supremacy? And some of us are taking the position that if a white person really says that they like a black person or a non-white person, then they will abstain from sex and they will abstain from marriage because they perceive also their position within the white supremacy context is, as long as we have a system of white supremacy, then white people, when they relate to non-white people, are relating at a level of unequals.
But you're saying,
until it's equalized, then something else is happening. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, the non-white person who is in bed with a white person, thinking that they are bringing about a humanistic union, are really bringing about their further subjugation because they are thinking
black
in
person
the
is.
act
Yeah.
of sex,
Yeah, but
that now we are one and now we are equal. And so when you find that those people who are in bed with white people, when they get out, like you said, they are negative, and you can make a diagnosis. If you see a black person being very, very negative when they are, you know,
but
With other
Francis,
black-
with
are
other
you
black
saying this is
people.
in all cases? I mean,
Not
you're
in,
sort of
no, I
making a
want to say
political.
all. I
Okay, but you're
don't
sort of
want to
making a
say all
political
and every.
statement.
But you
just
you have
saying
to
that.
I'm
agree.
saying that the
Yeah.
act of sex is a political act.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Mhm.
Just like
When
every
it's
other
between
act.
people of blacks and whites.
Every act is a political act, because when people relate, they are always relating on the basis of power. Do you see what I'm saying? Whether they are aware of that or not, you can never get away from that. And so even when people of different colors are relating, the question of power is brought into play. For example, the French, in terms of maintaining colonial domination in Africa, Arnold Toynbee has written about this, that they made it a policy, if the black man, you send him to the, the African who's in the colony, you give him a high school education and send him on to the university in Paris. He comes back and he says, all right, now I'm a Frenchman and I want to be free. I'm educated. I know as much as a colonizer. I want to be free. That you can cool him out by giving him a white woman. Do you see what I'm saying? And we see certain phenomena going on in the society today where black men who are married to white women are being given positions that black men who are not married to white women are not being given. Why? Because the white system perceives that that is a safe individual. Why? Because it is not only compromised in bed, but he is psychologically compromised. I mean, anytime you get in bed with somebody, sex is a very profound human act. And it has extreme psychological implications that spread into your, what do you do in the area of
But
economics? What do you do in the area of
assume,
entertainment?
though, that if a black man goes to bed with a white woman, he has to be assuming that she's superior, or he has to
He
feel
doesn't
that?
have to. She is superior.
Yeah, but suppose in his relationship with her, does he have to feel that he's
She
coming
is
from the
still
inferior position?
superior.
What about
She can take him anytime that she wants.
what
Do you see
about
what I'm
just the
saying?
biology
If she
of it?
gets angry
What
with
about the
him,
biology of it? That is, that he's involved in a sexual union that doesn't have political dimensions or
it
meaning,
does have political
even to him
dimension.
psychologically. Well,
Well,
that's,
maybe if I'm saying
Yeah.
what
yeah.
Dr. Welsing is saying, maybe she's saying that that's not conscious, but
Yeah,
the dynamic cannot be eliminated on a logical basis. I mean, on a conscious basis, you can't say that unconsciously my behavior is not determined by something
Right.
that I'm
See,
not
we're
aware
not
of.
aware
Okay,
of
but
it. Like a lot of people say,
You're
well, this is
assuming that
love.
all black men then got this feeling of inferiority in them.
All non-white people feel
Okay, black
inferior.
folk.
See what I'm saying? All non-white people who are within the system and the dynamic and the power of the system of white supremacy, until they consciously work and struggle with themselves, and even then are going to feel inferior, because functionally we are inferior. Let's say you're a professor at Harvard. I'm a professor at Howard. Physician, psychiatrist. I take the position that we are functional inferiors. In spite of that, even compared to the white person who has a grade school graduate degree. Why? Because within the political power system, they have more power to control what happens to their lives than you and I have to control in what happens to
Francis,
ours.
what about the fact that a lot of black men say that they are going with white women and so on because they're trying to get back at the system, or they're trying to get revenge, or this is really a hostile act, and it doesn't, in fact, that they see it as a confrontation with the white system, and not as something that they're succumbing to as an inferior person, that they're asserting, in a sense, their manhood, or saying they just have as much right to have a choice about the women that they want that white men used to have and still have. The white men can have white women, and they can have black women, they can have anybody they want, but black men were confined to black women, and they couldn't even have her when they wanted her.
Let's
But
say this. Some
now
black men
the
say they're
vistas
super
are
fly.
opening.
Some say they're shaft. Some say that they're super nigger and that they have power that they don't have. That's a fantasy. You see what I'm saying? We can say a lot of things. I can say, for example, I'm a psychiatrist and I'm free. Does that make it a case? No, it doesn't. The proof of what is it that I can do for myself? Can I protect my children? Can I protect anything that I call mine? The ultimate answer to that is no. So that we can say a lot of things. Black men can think that they're doing a lot of things. It was not black men who said that white women could come now into the black community and start picking up whatever black man they want. The black man didn't have anything to do with that. And if the white supremacy system tomorrow morning wants to turn it around and say all white women come home because it's essential to maintain white supremacy, all white women will go home.
But don't you
Keep in mind that this interview was done in 1973 with Tony Brown.
think, Francis, that psychologically, if white women have been forbidden to black men by oppression, if the black man has access to the white woman, that will make him feel more psychologically free.
It will fool them
the
more.
system.
Let's say, for example, if you tell me,
He
Francis,
said
you're
psychologically free.
well, that's
Psychologically.
well. Wait a minute.
He didn't say
See.
functionally free.
No, it's a fantasy, and then it's a psychosis.
Is
Do
that
you
right?
see that?
What
Right.
do you
In
mean
other
by
words, if you
psychosis?
are operating, just like they tell us in
That means
psychiatry,
a loss of contact
if
with
you
reality.
are functioning, if you are functioning on something that is not reality, then you've had it.
Well,
Okay. Now, but this is something that the white supremacy system understands. You see what I'm saying? They understand. Now, we programmed these victims to feel that if they get a white woman, they will have it. Like a black cat told me who was graduating from graduate school at Harvard, that marrying a white woman was a part of the Harvard degree. In other words, I'm really in. Do you see what I'm saying?
part of
All right.
ascending upward in
All right.
in the
Now,
system.
In
the
his mind.
system has
In his
programmed us
mind,
to
or-
think that. Just like it programs a black woman to say, all right, if you have a white man, that really means that you are in. Nonsense. Do you see what I'm saying? Because white supremacy is going on. And white supremacy will go on and victimize your children and your offspring, is irrespective of what you were doing in your bedroom
That's
activity.
true.
And the white supremacy system further would like the non-white and the black man to think that his phallus or his penis, if
But-
you will, is equal to an M16 rifle, which is what he maintains power with.
But Francis, you don't think it's possible for a white woman and a black man to be involved in a relationship as individuals without all of this stuff?
No
and-
more than
but-
it is for a black man and a black woman to think that they have
You're
got.
saying all these things
We
are always
don't
going
know.
on.
In other words, when the black man and the black woman decide that they are in love, you know, all those feelings that we call
Yeah.
love. What we call love is just that historic programming, you know, what parent we were tied to and whatever dynamic was going on. And then we go and pick somebody who turns on those same feelings. And we call those feelings love. But that doesn't, just because we call it love and then glorify it, doesn't mean that we cannot understand how those feelings got programmed in that way. And so a black man and a black woman, particular people who've had particular experiences, meet on a sunny day and they say, we are in love and we want to go off and get married, as though white supremacy as a major dynamic in the world has disappeared. Oh no.
But we don't have proof that most black men are programmed that way.
Do we have
See?
9/10 of the people in the world controlled by white
That's true,
supremacy?
but we don't have proof
Well, wait
that
a
the
minute.
black
What does
man
that
is
mean?
programmed.
What does that mean?
That is, we don't have the statistics to validate black men all wanting to rush after white women.
Wait a minute. Look at. Let's be honest. If we look at what is the dynamic that goes on in the so-called black community or more amongst black people, what is still, you know, in the quiet recesses of our thinking, what is considered as beautiful? Still light skin and still straight hair. Well, what does that mean? See, that just means that the black mother who trained her son, you know, I have a friend who says that his mother programmed him down in Oklahoma, you know, just looking out the front porch to the girl, black girl who was light skinned, straight hair. There's a beautiful girl. To the black skinned girl with the kinky hair, she wouldn't say anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So that kind of programming, this is what I'm saying, that all of this goes
Gets
on.
involved in love.
All of this goes in, is involved in love. Who is a suitable choice? What kind of woman does a professional man marry? You see, you can just survey. All we have to do is look at the phenomena of the social laboratory.
That's true.
And say, well, who are the people that particular people pick to marry? And we can understand that the dynamic of white supremacy is intact even when a black man and black woman are in bed. I've talked to black men who said when they're in bed with black women, they're thinking about Doris Day.
Oh, really?
I mean, where? See,
But Dr. Busan, you must admit, that there are some
and
black
this is
men
nothing to be ashamed of. We have got to stop being
who
ashamed
exclusively
of
don't
truth.
like any female who is not white. Now, I'm sure that you would have to have one constant, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
If a man who is black doesn't even look at a black woman and looks at nothing but white women, and then isn't that significant? I mean, wouldn't that be significant enough to be a non-generalization?
Significant, but see, I don't know if we can relate it all as clearly to sort of political, the white supremacy.
but
For instance, let me take it down to a personal level. Suppose something is operating like the black man and his relationship to his black mother or to his black father where he develops blocks against black women, and then he generalizes it all to other black women, and then he gets involved with a white woman. Now, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily indulging in any form of white supremacy necessarily.
He's not
That is,
indulging in white supremacy.
you can't assume that
He's
his
indulging in
rejection of his black mother is because she's black. He may be rejecting her for all sorts of other psychological reasons.
Let's go down and look at that. Let us look
and
at
that the white woman is just happens to be there where he
See,
can
but this is
displace
very common phenomena amongst our people.
May I interrupt you? We're going to continue this next week, and we don't want to lose it. Next week, we're going to continue part 2 of Black Man, White Woman. And a couple of things we're going to discuss with our same panelists will be why so many prominent blacks marry white men, and why so many prominent black females in particular marry white men. To begin this second part of what was a very exciting first part, I'd like to throw the question out. What has the increase in relationships between black men and white women done to the relationship between black men and white women, in black men and black women?
Well, I think first we should say that, there's interracial marriages that take place between black women and white men too. And that's a whole area because it seems that black men always get the focus of the interest and the attack, which is interesting because I think the society, white supremacy, has been concerned mostly with the black man, white woman. So I think that's the reverse of that. The white man, the black woman, also is a subject. There's no question, it seems to me, that black women, from what I can see, all over, very, very upset and threatened by the growing relationships between black men and white women, and that they oppose it. Now, from the black man's standpoint, I hear a lot of brothers say over and over again that first it was the white man who told them they couldn't go out with white women. Now it's mainly the black woman who's telling them that they can't go out with white women, so that they still feel oppressed. Now, for whatever that's worth, I think that's an important point psychologically for the black man, because is the black woman in this, is she more concerned with her control over black men, or is she concerned with white supremacy and interracial relationships in general? Because if black women are concerned in general, then they should attack just as much, I think, the white man, black woman combination.
But hasn't the black woman, to some extent, because the statistics have reversed. The statistics for black women, white men has decreased by the same percentage that the statistics for black men, white women has increased. Yeah. So obviously the black woman
has more cause for concern at this point.
Well, maybe she has more awareness, more consciousness, more cause for concern. Maybe her concern is not due to the fact she's threatened. Maybe her concern is due to the fact that she's just politically more sophisticated and more conscious of what black people ultimately may have to do, and that is unify themselves.
Let me just add this, that I think that the black woman's concern is related to, let's say, perhaps her survival as a woman or her functioning as a woman. That, and hopefully, I hope it's beyond that, the change in the statistics. But I think that, let us say, black men after the age of 15 are decreased in the population relative to the number of black women. Where are they? They're in Vietnam, they're in prisons, and they're dying from various causes at earlier ages than white men comparably. So that, let's say, there are a number of women, black women, who are going without adequate spouses or male partners to relate to. So probably, instinctively, black women are concerned about that. Historically, white men have not been interested in black or other non-white women, be they Japanese, Chinese, Indian, or whatever. They have been interested in sexually exploiting black women, but not really taking them to the altar, let's say, to marry them or to really fully respect them. So perhaps black women are responding to that. But I think that what is key is really what is happening to blacks, because I see the thrust of white women sexually aggressing against the black man, or from the other side, the thrust of the white man sexually aggressing against the black woman, that this produces a division between
It's going to make
and
it
black women,
harder to organize.
right? It will. In other words, we talk about unity at a political organization level as being one kind of unity, but there is another kind of unity that is much more fundamental, and that is the unity within the family unit itself. And we have been denied the opportunity to really have functioning family units since the the really onset of white
Let's talk
supremacy.
about let me ask one question. Let's talk about the contemporary family unit of a interracial couple in today's American society. We're in the black community, we have to admit that the black community is much more nationalistic, or very nationalistic, and that the black community is not receptive as it once was to interracial groups. The white community, I would say, has moved to the right to a very, very great extent.
You mean seemingly to the left? You mean to be more receptive to?
No, more reactionary to
It's more
interracial
reactionary.
couples.
No,
I'm talking about the middle America. I'm not talking about a few New York sophisticated interracial couples or San Francisco. These, I think, are just islands, are surrounded by
I would
very
disagree with
cautious
that,
white
Tony. I
communities.
would say that white people have moved to accept black men and white women to a greater degree than has ever been evidenced in
All
this
right,
area of the
then-
world.
okay, then
And that
does-
is across the board.
Then does a black man...
And I would say that there's a reason for this. They are being conditioned by the kinds of movies that are being made these days, where you have black men and white women engaging in sex on the screen or other kinds of relationships that the white community, in other words, those people who are responsible for getting the masses of white people to do those things that are necessary to maintain white supremacy, are conditioning them to accept this phenomena. Do you see? Because they understand that the black man really is being psyched out of position. He is being psyched to think when he asked for black power and liberation, and they said, no, we're not going to give you power, but here we will give you the white woman. And the
especially when they're dying out, and the only way they can stay here is to have a child by one of us to keep themselves here.
And the black man was faked out of position, just like many people are faked out of position. You say black power, I'll give you a $15,000 job. You don't have power, you don't have self-determination, but you have a program or a grant. You see what I'm saying? In other words, you ask for this, but I give you this because you really don't know what you want.
Well, then are you saying
Or
that
you
the
don't
children...
Most of us don't know what empowering ourselves is. We think it's monetary, but it's an overall thing. We have to have everything that suffices us as a nation. If it's not sufficing us as a nation in totality, and we're not able to maintain that, sustain that, and protect that, we don't have power.
Really know what constitutes power, or you really don't know what is the dynamic of the system. A lot of people think that the dynamic of the system is money. Money is not the dynamic of the system. White supremacy, or the maintaining of white power throughout the world, when whites are outnumbered 9-1 by non-white people, is the name of the game. Color is the name of the game. But we don't, I say that across the board and around the world, non-white people have not understood the significance of the color dynamic, and how white people have taken something that they are very intimately concerned about. I say that the fact that they cannot produce color, that they have decided that they're going to dominate everybody else who has this genetic capacity, who can genetically annihilate them. You see, comes one drop of black blood makes you black. That is a statement of the genetic dominance of the capacity to produce color over the inability to produce color.
And occasionally you'll find, I guess Francis has encountered this too, you'll find white women who have a preoccupation and desire to have black babies.
And white men have a desire to create children.
Well, let's talk
color.
about the first. Let's talk about the obsession, if I may use that word, on the part of a white woman to have a black baby. Now, what would the psychological dynamics be in a case such as that?
Well, I think, it's hard to tell without really just picking an individual case, but it may Go ahead, Francis.
Well, can you
But what,
have you ever
you
had
know,
a case?
I don't,
Yes,
yes,
I
I've
know
had,
black
I've had,
psychiatrists who say
I've
that
had
white women don't say
patients
this to
who've
white
wanted to have black
therapists,
babies.
but white women will say this to a black psychotherapist. I want to have a black baby.
Why? Why
I
do
say
they say
why? Because white people, if we look at the skin color white is the genetic inability to produce color. It is a genetic deficiency state. It is a form of albinism. It has never been discussed in this way, but genetically, biologically, this is what it is. White people they don't have the capacity to produce color. They wish they could. This is why they spend a lot of time sun tanning, makeup, all of that is trying to give color to colorless skins. Okay. Now, because they have this deep psychological need, they are the only people in the world, they are the minority in the world who cannot produce color. And so they can't produce it, they can't make it on their own. They try to suntan, and then at the sexual level, they have attractions to people who can give them the illusion that they have participated in the production of color. So the white man has gone all over the entire world, having sexual relations with every group of non-white women that he meets. The white woman, when she has been allowed to, sexually aggressive towards men of color.
She is allowed to.
And so then she gives vent verbally to that fantasy. I want to have a product of color because this is the one thing that I can't
Francis,
do.
how much is color the issue? I think that
You can't move
No, I
without
know
color.
okay, but what I'm trying to do is bring in other elements. That is, there's also, I've seen in some of these women a desire sort of to play a model role or a really superhumanistic one. That is, they want the world to be colorblind, so they want to get involved in producing, black children and raising them.
If they want the world to be colorblind, what is the focus on color all about? If the world is colorblind, what is the point of talking about having a black baby?
This is some of their rationale. What I'm saying, I think that some of it is political in their minds. That is the time that the civil rights movement was talking about black and white together. And that was a political position that people almost felt forced to have interracial relationships. And that was considered to be in the forefront of the whole thing.
Well, may I ask the question?
Both blacks and whites.
May I ask the question?
They were both involved.
You did quite a number of investigative studies. I remember reading one in Jet magazine on the interracial relationships in the South during the civil rights movement. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, was there or is there a phenomenon of black leaders and white women?
Well, I don't know if it's a phenomenon. Let me say that I would say a lot of the black leaders and the rank and file were involved with white women. There were also a lot of white men involved with black women, but I think the main group, that is the largest group involved, were black men with white women. And that this created a lot of problems. And I think it had a lot to do with the development of the black consciousness movement.
Well, didn't it have a lot to do?
What did it have to do with it? Wait a minute. See, there are people, for example, who are looking at the thing that has cut significantly into the quest for black power that went on in the 60s has been the unleashing of white women and saying that now you go out and have relationships with a black man to cool him out.
Yeah, it had
in terms of
significance.
all right.
No question about
it. Let's say, for example, the white woman, if you talk to women who are the furthest left, white women, who are in the women's liberation movement, peace movement, or any anti-war movement, if you say, look, what about eliminating white supremacy as a system? They have no use for that. They have no use even for the black man outside of the context.
Say they will, but I don't know.
Wait a minute. It has been my experience that white women will talk about in the war in Vietnam. When you say, well, that's the war to maintain white supremacy, then they don't want to have any trouble with looking at it in that way. When you say, well, look, the way that we have analyzed the problem is it's not a question of who has the money. It's a question of an established system to maintain white power. And that this is what is raising havoc all over the world. For the vast majority of people. Do you want to eliminate that? No, because the white woman understands that the black man is not even going to feel towards her as he does unless there's white supremacy and unless he feels in his powerless position that he is gaining power by making an alliance, be it marital, sexual, or whatever kind of alliance with the white woman.
I think that they feel that maybe unconsciously. There was no question in my mind that with a lot of the white female workers in the movement, even though they were involved with black men and sometimes married to them, that a lot of them had a lot of racist ideas and feelings. That is, frequently the attention of the black men made them feel very special.
Right, like you called it the African queen or the white African queen.
Yeah, the white African queen. Heighten their sense of of feeling special.
You mean attention they
Right,
couldn't
you
normally
see,
get from a white man?
because-
That's
But look
right.
at this.
And
Let's
then
look at
the
that
old
in
thing about
relation.
white women frequently who were unattractive, who came into the black community because the
She
black
could be
men would
ugly
adore
or fat,
them
but a black
because
man
they
would
were
think she
white,
was beautiful.
but the
Right.
black man thought she was
That's
beautiful.
right.
And that's still operating frequently, sometimes in
Right.
subtle ways, so that you can sometimes get, I'm not saying this is true of all white women or anyone, but this is an example. You can get a very pretty white woman sometimes who internally thinks she's no good
Why?
for a
Because
lot of
she has
reasons,
been
who
devalued
might
by
get
the white
attracted
man.
to
In other words, brothers are getting the scraps that the white man don't want. Whether she's fat and ugly, cross-eyed, one eye, the brothers get the scraps that the Caucasian man don't even want.
black men.
See, white
So it's
women are
not-
asking
it's-
for
it's runs
liberation.
deep
They are
sometimes.
asking for self-respect from their own men. Okay, because a white man not only had to be dominant to all people of color, he also had to dominate his own woman in the process. And so white women are saying, we want to be liberated, or we want to make ourselves equal to you. You see, I think that is a major
are you saying that- are
dialogue
you
that
saying
is
that-
going on.
are
The
you saying
white
that-
woman is
But
saying
don't,
she
don't
wants to
some
be.
of them want to rid themselves of the racism? Isn't this important,
No, see,
particularly
no, that's
when they're
like-
raising their children? I mean,
No,
wouldn't
they
you think
don't want
that-
to rid themselves of privilege.
Which
You
of
see,
white
and this is
supremacy?
why there was a study done recently where white
Me-
women are still teaching 3-year-old, 2-year-old white children that it's no good to be black and that black people are niggers and this and that and the
Yeah,
other.
but what about the white parent of a black child? I mean, that white parent would have a vested interest in at least trying to deal with their racism so that they will raise
You would think
their
that.
children unscarred.
You would think that.
Now, all of us know, people from interracial homes. I mean, they're not all, brainwashed into being white.
No, they
But some-
can't be
most of them
brainwashed into being
have
white because
have
they're all non-white.
identifications in
All
being
of them
in being
have
black.
marks of being non-white products. Either their hair is curled, their lips are broad, their nose are broad, or their skin is dark. Black genetic material is always going to leave its mark. And the children are always non-white. And the children that I have seen, many of these children have more hang-ups about not being white.
Yes, sometimes they look like us with physical characteristics, but a lot of them take the mentality and the attitude of that white man or woman who's the co-parent.
You see, than black children who may be the same hue.
Mhm.
You see, because they are caught in that dynamic of a parent on the one side, a white parent who still has not given up their desire to be dominant as a white person, and the black parent, be they male or female, who when they went into that alliance, hoping that they would somehow be in the position of an acceptable one now after they had devalued themselves. So that the child is in.
I don't know if.
Well, she's
See,
I
what
think
I'm
she-
saying
just for
is-
purposes of conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody can say all of
I'm not
anything.
saying
is
I
the
know,
all,
same.
but it's important that if we're talking about it, it makes it seem as if these are.
Well, let's
like
look
the
at it
major
this way.
dynamics.
Non-white children who have had white parents, all of us, everybody in this little circle, has had some white intertappings into their genetic style.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Now, in the vast majority of non-white people in this area of the world have had white intertappings, so that it really is not significantly different than what happens actually in the white home itself. The dynamic is still the same. So that you have light-skinned, dark people feeling devalued because they have color, whether it occurs in some illegal alliance of a white man having something to do with a black woman on 14th Street in Washington, D.C., or in Mississippi somewhere,
see,
or in Harlem, New York, or
there's
Fifth
a
Avenue,
black
or
parent
wherever.
involved too.
But
See,
what I'm saying is that,
I-
we cannot take any of this out from what is happening at a global level. See, one thing that has happened in psychiatry, that we have been tied up with somebody by the name of Sigmund Freud, who I'm sure made some very significant contributions in terms of looking at human behavior, some significant contributions, but he got tied up in talking about behavior comes from within the individual. and only indirectly from what is happening outside of the individual. So he called it the sexual instinct, okay? But there are other people, fortunately, now who are coming along.
While we have
and who
time.
are, okay.
Yeah, but we're not,
While we have time.
you know, we're not completely controlled, you know, by the externals. I would like to think that we have some power over determining and
We won't
understanding
have power
the
over what we don't
processes
understand.
that affect us.
While we have time.
But I don't consider
Yeah.
myself a complete sort of a robot who's affected by racism and don't understand it. And I think a lot of people like that, both some whites, but not a lot of them, a lot of black people can understand or feel what's going on. And I think that's why you get some black men who are very aware about a lot of racial things in their blackness, who may get involved in those situations, particularly in the past. And you have some who are on the opposite extreme. But it's not like we're all,
Yes, all right.
yeah, go ahead.
We would never resolve that very deep psychiatric problem.
Mhm.
But I would like to, at least while we have a few minutes, discuss one very important point. And that is the significant phenomenon, and Dr. Poussin, I'm sure you will agree with us in an overgeneralized way this time, the significant phenomenon of well-known, I will not make well-known synonymous with prominent, black women who particularly professional entertainers who consistently marry white men in large numbers and one white man after the other. And I would like to know from either or both of you how you view this dynamic.
I say that they're not marrying the men; the white men are marrying them. Okay, and I think that is
Well, but if they continually are selective.
Well, let's put it this way. Number one, that as I said earlier, that there's an extreme alienation going on between the black man and the black woman. In other words, this same conversation really could be discussing the alienation between the black man and black woman that allows for the significant phenomena of black man, white woman that we see. All right. Because there is that alienation, then black women and black men all across the economic board, no matter whether they're on welfare, whether they're making, $150,000 a year, probably as an entertainer, are having problems in terms of their relationships with each other. Now, some women who, they may be in the limelight, or they may be considered beautiful, a star or something like that. All right. They have been frustrated in many of their relationships. If you take all of those entertainers, if they start telling you that they started out relating to black men and they had a number of kinds of problems, and so now, well, I don't want to say you didn't. No, you didn't fail us.
Okay,
you didn't fail us. The white supremacist system is just beating all of us.
Black men will say that too about black women. That black women have let them down.
Right. Well, you see what I'm saying? It's just like the Julia syndrome. Diane Carroll and the Julia. Black women have been programmed via TV and everything else. You don't need a black man. You just need a white man to give you a job. At the same time, they're saying to the black man, you don't want a sapphire. She's too argumentative. She talks too much. You see what I'm saying? What you need is a white woman. Now, what does this produce? This produces maintenance of white supremacy. Why? Because you have divided and conquered the black man from the black woman. Just like you divide and conquer non-white people.
I have to make this point, if that's true. But I still must return to the fact, and I don't think we can lose this statistic, that there is a decline on the part of black women in general in interracial relationships, but there continues to be a significant increase among black women and white men when the black woman is a prominent entertainer.
Yeah, Tony.
Okay.
See, this
because
I'm isolating, and we must address ourselves together.
Well,
I'm isolating that group of black women.
Part of this, I've talked to people about this in show business. One of the explanations I give, you can take it or leave it, is that in the entertainment field, where these women are most of the time, that there are very few prominent black men who have power. Black men aren't the producers, they aren't directors, they aren't the people putting up the money, they aren't the stage managers. That all of these people in that industry, the strong, dominant, powerful men are white.
Are you saying that the black woman, in order to be successful in that field, must marry one of those white men?
No, I think that's part of the phenomenon.
But many black women in the entertainment field do not marry white men, and they are still successful. Yeah. So wouldn't that not contradict that point?
They're coming in constant contact with these types of white men in the business who have power.
Look at it this way.
And starlets frequently marry men with power.
Okay, and
white actresses do this, white entertainers.
I must now return to your theme. Wouldn't the variable then be the individual?
No, look, there are not a lot of black men who are earning that same salary, okay?
Into that
because even at the lower level, black men and black women have problems because the white supremacy society has said it'll be easier for a black woman to make a particular salary. Black women can get a job easier than a black man any day. And that has caused, Huh?
I don't think that's true.
Well,
anymore.
just
At least
ask in the
these
community.
statistics. Okay,
Ask
go
in the
ahead.
community, because a black woman could be a domestic worker when her husband couldn't even work.
Yeah, but I think it's shifting. That's
Well,
all.
it may
saying.
be gradually shifting. I don't know about that looking at the current unemployment statistics, okay? But I'm saying that that has been a sore point within the black family unit a long, long time. And that's why somebody like Monahan can come out and talk about matriarchal family structure. Why? Because the white supremacy society said, well, we'll let her make more money because it's really important to keep him down. All right. So this is what they did. Now, when you get to the level where the stars are and the income,
Why the fear?
well, wait a minute, in the incomes that they're making, that number one, you have many black men who are not making comparable salaries. And when they are making comparable salaries, because of the dynamic that goes along with that salary, then he wants a white woman. So who's available for her? Because we have one black behavioral scientist who says when a black man is poor, he wants a job. When he gets a job, he wants luxuries. And when he gets luxuries, he wants a white woman.
All right,
Now, that is the dynamic that is produced.
All right, let me ask
You see
one.
what I'm saying? It's not castigating the black man. It's saying this is what the white supremacy society is programmed.
All right, but consistently,
and we have got to keep
consistently,
that in
Dr.
mind.
Wells, you have made the point in a very strong premise that the black man is the real fear of a political system based on white supremacy.
Oh, yes.
Why, I'll ask.
Well,
why the black man? Why is this system so afraid of the black man?
You know what
If
black
that fear
power
is the
means?
reason for interracial relationships.
You know what black power means? Black power means genetic power. The black man can annihilate the white man, you know, with his phallus. The white man has to build a missile to annihilate people of color. By that I mean this, that I think that the fundamental thing that is frightening white men and has frightened them since they were created as genetic mutations is that their appearance can be annihilated by the black man, especially the man who can create the most color, which is a black man in the whole human family. And that is the individual who has to be made inferior and who has to be controlled and has to be destroyed at the fundamental level of genetics. Then we can look at the next level in terms of numbers, that non-white people, if they outnumber white people 9-1 in the world, then the white man all over the world has got to say, now we have got to keep these people down. And you keep a people down by controlling their men. Women, that's why they can let.
I think that's true.
You see, and I think that this is where.
I think that's true, that all of the policies that they had in repression of blacks directed toward the black man's access to the white woman, because then he could destroy white people eventually by making all people of color. Whereas the white man, his access to the black woman produced children of color, but they were black children.
No, the white woman is that all of the children of black and white are non-white.
Yeah,
whether it's a male or whether it's a male white or the female white, the children
whatever.
are all,
the children are all brown. But that's why they wanted to protect the white woman against the black man.
Not to protect her, to control the sexual activity of the black man. You see what I'm saying? Not
in
to
relationship
protect,
to the white woman.
That's important. In other words, the genetic material of non-white men in the world has to be controlled if we don't want the disappearance of white people. And white people, even though they don't like the fact of skin whiteness, proof their quest for suntan. Okay. Even though they have psyched themselves into the position that white is beautiful, although they don't really believe it, then they don't want white appearance to be annihilated because now you have a worldwide system that's 500 years old of white domination and white privilege.
It's easier to control black people.
Thank you. Thank you very much for a very, very interesting interview and some comments. We hope to have Dr. Welsing back on a future Black Journal program discussing her very phenomenal genetic theory called the Crest theory.
One of my good friends, professional football player, I've heard him say this over and over. I don't know how I feel about him saying it. What do you feel about the phrase "give back, but don't go back"?
That's totally incorrect.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Giving back, okay, may provide some financial resources.
Yeah.
But going back provides an intangible, psychological stimulation and motivation for the children
The next one to say,
to want to do better.
Yeah.
Your presence
Yeah.
is infinitely more important than your profit.
Okay.
And then we turn around and blame the hip hop artists for being bad role models. Lil Wayne ain't supposed to be a role model.
Right.
Jeezy ain't supposed to be a role model.
Not at all.
The reason why they're role models
Yeah.
is because the real role models turn their backs on little black boys. See, 50 years ago, the dentist lived on the block. 60 years ago, the doctor lived on the block. The engineer lived on the block.
Right.
The electrician lived on the block.
Yeah.
Now they move out and they get mad at the rappers. The only reason why Lil Wayne is a role model is because the doctor, lawyer, dentist, and engineer ran to a white suburb and probably married a white woman.
I saw a video on that. Talk briefly about that. And then I'm gonna get into what I'm gonna get into.
No problem.
But talk briefly about the black man and white woman. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Historically, black men were not allowed to marry white women until the Loving versus Virginia United States Supreme Court case in the 60s.
Yeah.
You could not marry them. So since that case was overturned, 67, 68, right around there,
Yeah.
black men have married out their race more than all other men in America put together. Are you going to tell me it's a pure coincidence that the black man is absolutely in love with marrying his oppressor's daughter, and that doesn't have anything to do with the psychological residuals of slavery?
I'm gonna give it to you on the flip side.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's a lot of the black man saying, I got to go have that white woman? Or some of these white women out here looking at, that's a god right there. I want that.
Mm-hmm. It's threefold.
Okay.
Number one, it's about a black man being an economic stimulus package to the white woman.
Okay.
Most black men marry down in class when they marry these white women.
Okay.
You can't find a rich white woman who ever married a broke-ass black man.
Boy.
Show me one rich white woman who has ever married a broke-ass black man. So this ain't about love. This is about agenda.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, the black man wants the white woman to provide him with a degree of psychological validation. Only a low self-esteem having ass Negro would marry a white female in the first place, because you feel that if I can get the white man's woman, then maybe that makes me feel a little bit more equal to the white man. And then thirdly, you're absolutely right. We're the gods. We are the first man.
Yeah.
So naturally, white women are going to be attracted to us because we are the original man. Everyone is attracted to melanin. It is liquid gold.
Boy.
But you have to love your liquid gold enough to say that y'all have misogynized us enough. Y'all have blended us and crossbred us enough. And I'm not going to continue to perpetuate that evil. This melanin is going to go into another melanin. We trying to make black blacker, not black whiter.
More Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Umar is one of the most controversial figures in internet history.
When you marry a white woman, you are investing in white supremacy.
Correct. But I would say, listen, your wife is white. So we're going to stop the black talk right there.
Love you, but you are no use to me with that white woman on your arm, brother.
He prides himself on being a Pan-African and believing that black people should only date black people. Today, I'm going to prank Dr. Umar into meeting my fake white girlfriend. But first, let me tell you the story about how we got here. I was in the middle of shooting my Apple Vision Pro video when I got a call.
Yo, you know Dr. Umar's in town, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Here I am waiting patiently in line for Dr. Umar.
I'll be honest, this guy knows how to draw a crowd. I waited in line for well over an hour, and the moment finally came.
What up, King? How you doing? You know who you remind me of a little bit? The way you dress? M'Baku from the Wakanda. You the same haircut. You got the same haircut.
The audio was absolutely abysmal, but basically I asked him for an interview, and he told me that he couldn't do it because he had another one to do that day.
So shoot me a text. Okay. I'm supposed to come back Friday or Saturday. Gotcha. You feel me? Yeah, I got you. Text me so I don't forget. Thank you. Come on up, please.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect to actually hear back from him, but after a month of going back and forth, he finally told me he was back in Atlanta and ready to do the interview. But now the only problem is I don't actually have a white girlfriend.
Okay, all right, y'all. So now I'm here with, what's your name again?
Tori.
I'm here with Tori, and now we have to go fake look like we're a couple, like a happy couple, which I'm not that excited about because like I'm in a real relationship, but I gotta make this YouTube video, so yeah. Anyways, let's do it.
Tori's gonna be helping me prank Dr. Umar into thinking I have a white girlfriend. We're gonna be taking some pictures so it looks like we've known each other for a long time, and then we're gonna plan an argument in front of him.
We have to look it up on Pinterest to find some inspiration, so we're gonna do it. Y'all know that couple post where you're like, walking, like, and you're leading behind me. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do that. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah.
Now we're going over what role she should play. The plan is to tell Dr. Umar that I'm having relationship problems because my girlfriend wants an open relationship, but little does he know, when she gets out here, she's gonna be Caucasian, and I'm gonna have her say this to him.
What do you want her to say in this situation? When you say
I think Dr. Umar should join us one time.
This thing is gonna get up and leave.
With only a few minutes left until Dr. Umar arrives, we got a full plan and we're ready to execute.
Dr. Umar and
Yes,
the flesh,
sir.
man.
Honest time, brother.
What a pleasure it is to meet you,
Likewise,
man.
likewise.
Man, how's life been for you?
Life been great. I can't complain. Always ready for revolution.
Amen. I know I can never go a day without seeing you on the internet. So I mean, that means you're doing something right. I want to go ahead and show you around my humble house real quick.
Nice here.
Thank you so much. We have the city of Atlanta behind us.
Wow.
You play basketball at all?
Yeah, I wasn't good though. They made me play because I was tall.
Hey, we need to see at least one jump shot. One.
One jump shot.
Just
I
one
can't
jump shot.
stop.
Come on now.
Oh,
We got to get at least one from you.
yeah.
All right, know what color it is. I don't know. It's water.
I'm going to the foul line.
I
Let me
heard
go.
you. Okay, we're going to scoot it in a
They
bit.
got me on camera. They're gonna talk about it.
No.
Let me see. Ah.
Give him a break. The ball's flat.
Oh! I thought I hit it.
It's a girl's ball, but you all right. Water.
Oh!
He does. That's what we doing.
Yes!
Hey, now you hooping though. All right, let's go ahead and go through the crib real quick.
Man, oh man, what a blessing, what a moment. My brother, Dr. Umar.
Glad to be with
How you
Glad
doing,
to be
man?
Young brother has a nice home. He said it's humble. He has a nice home with a nice landscape.
with you. How's everything?
Man, everything's going great. I can't complain, man. Like I said, I can't go a day without seeing your content on the internet. So that means you're doing something good. Like honestly, like I'm trying to get like that, honestly. So I guess, just for the average viewer, can you tell people a little bit more about who you are?
Sure. Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I'm a certified school psychologist. I'm a doctor of clinical psychology. I'm a therapist. I am a parent advocate. I am a Pan-Africanist, which is probably the most important hat that I wear. I'm author of 2 books, Psychoacademic Black Parent Advocate.
Where can we find it? Amazon?
DrUmarJohnson.com.
Okay, so he got his own website. Okay, my fault.
Private publisher, independent. And I'm currently working on finishing up an independent school, Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, based in Wilmington, Delaware. We got a paint day coming up in about 2 weeks, and then we should almost be ready to apply for our inspection. Hopefully, we pass the inspection, and we'll have a grand opening celebration for the community sometime in the end of the summer.
That's a beautiful thing. I open up a school. I always give any respect to someone open up a school because you're prioritizing the kids.
Yes, sir. And we're doing it independently.
That's even harder. It's not public. Okay, wow. No, I like the stuff you do because it's about Black excellence. And my group, like I said, not only are we the #1 content group in America, I mean the #1 Black group, but the #1 content group.
It's been about 10 years. Let's see if it opens.
In general, Black, white, Hispanic. So we really are about Black excellence, and that was one of the goals when we started this group. It's called AMP. We're about maybe 5 or 6 million subscribers. That was one of the goals is showing people, hey, you don't gotta be outside with the stick, you don't gotta be outside with the Thule, you don't gotta be outside with the Draco, with the 9, with the 40, with the 50, with the 60, with the 70 cal. You can pick up a camera and vlog. Yeah, you can get in the camera, you can get sturdy. You can do 20 V1s and
absolutely
and tell women, hey, hit a 360 for me real quick, and like see if she's thick or not. Like there's a lot of things you can do.
But we don't want to do that.
Why not?
Because we don't want to sexually exploit our women. One of the biggest problems that we have, your generation in particular, those younger than you, there's too much focus on the sexual objectification and exploitation of Black women.
Okay, so that's fair, but what if she's actually like, now I'm being serious now. What if she's actually just so thick?
That's okay. I love my women 5'5" thick in the thighs.
Come on now.
Come on now. To a curvy queen. That's all I like. But we have to be careful that we don't go so far in our attraction, right? That lust is now being used as a way to lynch our sisters and create an atmosphere where they have been permanently objectified for their sexual attractiveness.
We gotta get into some of the hard-hitting questions now. Do you know what a gyat is?
I do not.
Okay, let me show you some examples. So I'm gonna just think of a good example. I mean, like,
Tell me what it is. Why you?
It's a gyat is like a woman with a big butt. So like, if you see that,
I'm looking at a white woman.
Brother, come on. Booty is booty now. Come on.
Real crazy.
Come on, brother.
I'm looking at a white woman.
So, okay.
No, sir.
Come on, bro.
No,
so you can't see that and be
you
like,
better pull up some mixed race sisters.
Okay.
But you ain't giving me no snow bunny, no sir.
Hey, she mixed with something, I think.
No.
So she's so you can't.
I'm not,
I saw you sneak a peek. I saw you sneak a peek. Hey, now he's sneaking peek. I saw you. He said.
No disrespect to the Caucasian female.
Okay.
There's a lot of brothers who want them, like yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of them.
My biggest thing, and I've seen you talk about relationships time and time again. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I'm monogamous. And
Your partner.
Yes.
What is her race?
Come on,
What is she?
You know I love my queens, brother. Come on now.
Is she black?
Brother, come on.
Is she black?
Come on, brother. You know how I feel.
Say she's black.
Brother, come on.
Why you
like we in an all black, we in a black content house.
Mean nothing.
We in the number one.
You just push snow bunnyism like I.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But I'm gonna explain.
Is she a black woman?
Brother, come on. What like? I'm not trying to just hand it. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, she definitely okay. So the problem I'm having with my current relationship is because she is very out there. This generation is very. They like to go twerk in the club. They like to go be ratchet and stuff like that. So it's like my girlfriend. I'm trying to sit here and build a long living Christian life. I'm a provider. You see this house. I mean, God is blessing me. God is blessing me. And it's like she is at the club shaking ass on her friends. Like she, have you seen the Ice Spice pose?
I've heard that Ice Spice. What is that?
Ice Spice? Okay, I get shut.
Wait, you said pose?
Yeah, it's a pose.
What is it?
I'm gonna just show you.
Need to see it. It's expert. What is it?
I mean, can you turn it to him?
No, I'm not doing it.
You're not gonna do it? Okay. All right. Okay.
Come on, man.
Okay. So
that type of part.
No, I know. But the Ice Spice pose, basically, she's bending over. Hey, my girl is. I take care of her. I get her Prada bags. I get her Chanel, and she's in the club. And the thing that pissed me off the most, and the reason why I'm like, okay,
How long have y'all been together?
9 months.
Y'all been together 9 months.
Yeah.
Have you expressed your disagreement with her public behavior?
1,000%.
Has it changed at all?
Slightly, but it's taking a step back. Like she's not in the club weekly. But the thing that's throwing me off right now is 2 weeks ago, she with my friend, and like my friends can't hang out. My girlfriend and my friend can't hang out, and he wasn't with this, but she started doing the Ice Spice pose on him.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How can you, or why haven't you, being the proud Christian brother that you are, why haven't you given her an ultimatum?
Because I'm trying to save her, and I like I said, she's a big fan of.
Are you trying to save her, or are you addicted to that booty yourself?
Oh, brother, Dr. Umar, come on now, come on, let's keep it.
Stay with what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you are as committed to your faith as you claim, how is it that you spent almost a year with a woman who doesn't sound like she's the least bit interested?
No,
in Jesus Christ?
She's very interested in Christ and everything. Everyone has their bad habits, and she
That's
was just
not a
outside.
habit,
like,
brother.
she was
That's a
outside.
lifestyle.
Like I'm not gonna lie, before we started dating, she was like definitely racking it up. She was going crazy in college. I see.
But why are you attracted to that type of a woman? I want to deal with you more than her because we can't.
She's a big fan of you, by the way, and
I appreciate my sister, and I'm gonna give her 40 lashes for doing the Ice Spice. But listen,
okay, what do you mean by lashes? Is that
whipping post?
Okay.
Listen,
okay,
metaphorically, not literally.
I know, we know. Well, because like my girl, she has a percentage of black hair. Like I like,
Wait, stop. Ninja, please. You just said my woman got a percentage of black.
100%. What'd you say?
Wait. We gonna run this. We got to run this back. Because you just slid something in on me.
Okay.
First of all, mixed race African is still African.
Yeah.
I believe in the one black parent rule. If you got one black parent and you psychologically identify as African, you one of us.
She 100% psychological.
But you said she has some black.
I don't know what the percentage is.
Well, we need to know what the percentage is.
As a matter of fact,
because if she got 1% black, she ain't black.
Baby, can you come in here? She's in the building today.
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce her.
What is her ethnicity? What's the other ethnicity? What is the mother is what and the father is what?
Okay, the time is because I don't want to miss like.
Hey, baby.
How you doing? It's nice to see you.
Hi. Nice to meet
Good
you.
afternoon. Likewise. No hugs, please.
Okay.
And no, you can come sit right here. Is everything in the shot? You can come sit right here.
We having a conversation.
Come on, sit right here. Okay. Yeah. So, come on, we gotta get cozy now, brother. Come on.
No, go ahead.
So I was talking about my issue with you is that you be in the club. You talked about I don't even know the term is swapping or switching partners one time. Like I just feel like you should be more loyal to me.
But I just feel like I'm more happy whenever I'm out there.
So, but you've said several times that I make you happy.
Yeah, you do make me happy. But I would be happier if we had an open relationship.
That's my problem with Omar.
I have a question, young lady. Your name?
Tori.
Pleased to meet you, Tori. What is your ethnicity, Tori?
I'm white.
Okay,
She had
and
a
what are
percentage of black hair.
hold on.
Yeah.
What are the if you don't mind me asking, your father's ethnicity and your mother's ethnicity?
My dad is, I think, European.
Italian,
I
Greek,
don't know. I think Polish.
Irish. Okay, maybe Polish. Your father and your mother is.
I don't know.
Okay, but definitely Caucasian.
But this is your thing, Omar. Look at my.
He said you had a percentage
look
of
at my
black
background.
in you.
Look at my background. I got this woman on my background.
Have you ever done any DNA testing to ascertain if you had any African blood?
No, but my mom has. I just don't know what the results were.
Okay.
But there was African.
Okay. But your mother, if I saw her, would clearly appear to me as a Caucasian female.
Let's all scoot in because the shot's wide. Can we all get closer? Come,
No, you're fine. Yeah. You're fine, Tori.
Okay. Yeah.
I would disagree with him being with you.
Whoa.
Not because I have an issue with you as a human being. I want you to understand. But because I have an issue with him as a black man who I feel should have chosen a sister out of loyalty to the community.
But she's like a sister.
So it's not a dismissal of you. You understand me? It's a loyalty to us that I think a lot of black men take him. He's a successful young brother doing very well for himself. And instead of getting a sister, he gets a Caucasian woman. And that represents a significant contradiction for me as a Pan-Africanist and someone who is trying to build my people.
The most important thing to me is I want to get your advice because I think that you have a genuine understanding of relationships and people. I need her to stop swinging. She's trying to get us to start swinging. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term.
Swinging.
Y'all
being intimate with other people.
That's what she's doing. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I'm completely against anything non-traditional. Okay. But I couldn't even give you the advice because I cannot approve of the relationship itself.
Brother, you can 100% give me advice.
Although I can respect this young lady.
Why did you think it was okay to twerk with my friend?
I felt like he wanted me to.
What the fuck?
Don't curse at me.
I'm not using profanity. I'm not using profanity with you. I'm simply saying, if you think my close friend, who I play basketball with, who I go to the gym with every day, if you think putting my partner, who I'm trying to uplift as my queen, if you think rubbing your butt against him in the club is respectful, I think you're completely wrong. And I know you can agree with that.
But I don't agree with you. I feel like it was fine. We were just living in the moment.
And one word she always tries to use is insecure. She tries to say I'm insecure.
Because you are.
Let me interject.
Okay.
That is an issue that the two of you will need to discuss. I cannot lend any of my professional insight because I do not agree with interracial relationships.
But that's the problem. But it's not even just the relationship. It's just the fact that she's trying to fuck with other.
Again, I'm gonna need y'all to table that, handle that on your own time, and we can get back to our conversation unless our conversation is over, because I don't agree with interracial relationships, so I don't even feel comfortable being a part of this three-way conversation.
I don't even like you using the word three-way around her because she always getting ideas and shit.
It was nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I just feel like the conversation wasn't really done.
Oh no, I'm leaving. You better.
Why do you feel like?
Sorry, you gotta excuse us. If you valued black women, you would keep searching until you found the one that you need. You don't value black women, you value white women. You are a bunny hopper.
I'm not.
I don't believe an African could have a Caucasian soulmate. And it's an insult against her that you're only with her for what she can do for you as it relates to your career.
I agree.
You on his dick. God damn. Get off his dick. God, leave.
Why though?
Huh? Why what?
Why should I have to?
Get off. What you have to what?
Get off his dick.
That right there is disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful to me.
If he's down, I'm down. That's all I'm saying. Like,
I'm not into either interracial dating or non-traditional forms of sexual intimacy. I don't believe in twosomes, threesomes. I'm not into that. and I'm not into bunny hopping, so no, thank you.
What if I change your
No,
mind?
listen. I'm gonna get her Uber. Please give me a second. I'm gonna get her Uber.
While Dr. Umar thinks I'm getting her Uber to leave, I'm actually talking to her about how this is the final time she's gonna have a chance to riz this man up. I walked in first and told her to come out a few seconds afterwards so she could approach Dr. Umar.
Well, Hebrew Israelite is different. Hebrew Israelite is
I just
different.
really feel like you would like to try something new.
No, I would not.
Oh, what do you mean?
Hebrew Israelite is different
I'm not talking to you.
because they are a black consciousness religious movement. You feel me? We're talking about traditional Christianity tends to be colorblind. And in being colorblind, he was raised without any loyalty to the black community.
Plenty of loyalty.
And that's what
she got
allowed
at least
him to
3%.
end
She got
up
at least
with a
3% error.
Caucasian.
She got at least 3% error.
Yes, so that's not really going against what you've been saying then.
See, the problem here is you're trivializing a very serious problem in the black community.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
I think you're making mockery of the tragedy
What in the world? Mockery?
of black men not being loyal to black women. I think you're making a mockery of it.
Guys, shut the fuck up!
And see, I wouldn't expect her to understand because it's not her responsibility to.
And he's talking about that, and you wanna ask him to join us in bed.
Yes.
What type of whole shit is that?
You're calling me a hoe?
Yes, because you're asking to sleep with one of my guests. This is
So, I already told you what my views were before we ever got together. And you agreed and you stayed. So if he's interested, I'm interested.
Really not interested.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, Tori. Thank you.
Positive?
No, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
You can't even look me in the eyes?
I'm absolutely positively sure. I don't want to
I
join.
feel like you're making some severe eye contact with my girl.
That's what I'm saying.
Now you're making some eye contact with my girl.
I see the signs.
No, chill.
I see them.
No, there's
too.
no signs. There's no
I
signs.
see the signs. I'm going with him.
You're going what?
Nah.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I'm not interested in the story.
But you
And he's
fuck me
been
too.
excommunicated from the black.
Whoa, now. Whoa. I'm in the black community still.
No, you're not.
Come on.
You've been excommunicated.
Stop it. Nah, it's big. No.
You've been excommunicated. Men who are not loyal to the black community, we kick them out.
He want to give you a
He's
hug.
going to get some paperwork in the mail that lets him know we're snatching his melanin.
Whoa! No. I'm black. I'm black.
In all honesty, Miss Tori, and let you know, I am absolutely not interested in being with you or any other Caucasian woman on any level.
Thank you. Please go. Dr. Umar, I want to thank you for coming on my show. Can I still get a handshake, or do you think I'm too much?
Nah, you.
Whoa! Come on.
I'm gonna pray for you. Dave.
I can't get a handshake no more?
I'll give you a pound.
Brother, come on. You can't give me a
I can't give you a handshake.
All right. You have a good day, Dr. Umar. Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Oh man, it was great.
Yeah, thank you.
So we successfully had this woman riz up Dr. Umar, and of course, he stood on business and respectfully declined multiple times. After this was over, I wanted to comfort Dr. Umar and let him know the truth about the situation.
Hey, Brother Umar, I'm going to go ahead and get it to myself. I want to thank you once again. I do want to tell you, I'm 100% joking. I did thoroughly enjoy the conversation. My only girlfriend is a black girlfriend. Of course, I'm pranking you. Hey, brother.
Y'all look fake.
Brother. no, he didn't. And we want to appreciate you for not taking it too serious, man. Being very lighthearted. So I appreciate it. I can't even get my fist bump still.
Negro, let me see.
Insane.
I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I appreciate it. I hope that the presentation was enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed Dr. Umar Johnson and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson take on Black Man, White Woman. I appreciate you for joining me this evening. Thanks to Milestone Thoughts. Thank you to Epic Studies. Thank you to my brothers, Epic Studies, Milestone Thoughts, Executive Sessions, my brother Relentless, my brother Big Dog Philly OG, my brother Hurricane JW, my sister Black Panther Jackie Brown, my brother Bronze Flat Power God, Sister Sharon Walker, Sister Owlette. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you to my wife. I know she's watching. She's always watching. I appreciate you all for joining me. In the next few days, I'm going to do the psychology of self-hatred in our community, and also the spending habits of our people, especially at this time of the year. Until next time, this is the Enemy's Public. I am Brother Nasir. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.